Public can join the meeting remotely by using a telephone and calling 408-650-3123 and using access code 942-845-49. Or the public can join via computer at gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. All supporting materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to members of the commission and are also available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda.
Want to listen?
Excuse me, if your case hasn't or your matter has not been called, please mute your telephone. Thank you. And let me confirm that members who are going to participate tonight are present. So when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Michelle Koros.
Here.
Patrick Cunningham.
Here.
Megan Langley.
Here.
Okay. I was advised that Catherine Nordberg may be available, but I also think she's on the Cape. So, Catherine, are you there? All right, I'm not hearing her. And we also have town officials that are participating. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mr. Moody? And Mr. Heselton? Here. Great. And before I start, I have to ask if anyone is recording this meeting. Okay, there are being no affirmatives. Please note the meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television, and it will be available for future viewing at the town's website. All right, the first matter on tonight's agenda is a 7 p.m. public hearing. A notice of intent filed on behalf of the town of Auburn to control invasive and nuisance non-native aquatic vegetation in the areas of the Packagug Golf Course, Irrigation Pond, Eddy Pond, and Pondville Pond. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Is there anyone here on behalf of the town of Auburn for this notice of intent?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Dominic Maringo here.
Okay, good evening, sir. And we also have someone else, I think. Okay, Nick, can you come up, please? So, Mr. I don't know which one of you wants to make the presentation. Could you just explain or give us a summary of what you hope to achieve with this notice of intent?
I think I'll let Dominic lead the discussion.
Okay, Dominic, could you start, please?
Yes, just so you know, there's an echo here on the online meeting. Like there's two audios going on in the room there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will mute my phone while you're speaking and then I'll unmute when you're done. How's that?
That'd be great. Thank you. Great. Well, again, my name is Dominic Faringolo. I'm an environmental engineer, project manager at Solitude Lake Management. We've actually been managing the ponds in Auburn for many years with the DPW. It's been a very successful program, but we are looking to, for various reasons, the town wanted to kind of re-up the permits, file a new notice of intent, bring everybody up to speed, as well as add the addition of the Packagug Golf Course irrigation pond. But essentially, both Eddy Pond and Pondville Pond have experienced issues with non-native species, particularly milfoil, curly leaf pondweed, and spanwort. We have been treating both of these ponds again for many years, and we're in more of a kind of a maintenance mode right now. We're not necessarily treating every year, but we have been monitoring on a monthly basis to keep a check on the ponds, and whenever we do see some of the non-native species start to pop back up, we do very targeted spot treatments using U.S. EPA state registered aquatic herbicides and algicides. As I said, the program's been very successful. The conditions in both ponds have been pretty desirable and ecologically balanced. There's a lot of good native species in the ponds. We've gotten good control of the non-native species, and again, we just keep monitoring them. And whenever we do see them start to regrow, we've been treating certain parts of the ponds, particularly for eddy ponds. Although I'm sure you all are familiar with it, the southern end is quite grown in. We're really not managing that area kind of south of the boat ramp. It's very stumpy water lilies. It's very much a wetland habitat there. So we're mostly managing milfoil there with the dicot herbicide in certain sections of the shoreline. We're also spot treating water lilies and later in the season, mostly along the edge, mostly along the management area edge at the southern part, is to keep those lilies from expanding into the open water portion of the pond. And we do a few other spots. We also manage the small section on the other side of Route 20. In Pondville Pond, we've been managing fanwort algae, curly pondweed occasionally as needed. We put a barrier up, floating curtain at the Millbury town line to stop some of the plants from coming down from that section of the pond that is in Millbury that we do not manage. And it really has been working very well. Again, in addition to the commission's approval, we annually get a license to apply herbicides from the Mass DEP. We're requesting the same herbicides that are listed in the NOI, including dicot, fluridone, flumioxazin, a newer herbicide, Pacellacor. These are not all used at the same time. They're different types of herbicides depending on which plants come back, and we're typically only using one at a time depending on which plant we're treating. And again, we only treat certain areas of the ponds where we find those plants growing from the monitoring program. The Packagug Golf Course is new this year. It's a small quarter-acre pond located on the golf course. It has a small fountain. It's also used for irrigation. There's just been some issues with overgrowth of filamentous algae causing water quality issues with the irrigation pump that's in the pond, as well as causing just stagnant, overgrown conditions that can exacerbate or be a place for mosquito breeding habitat as well for the golf course. So, that's really an overview. I'd be happy if you want me to go into a little more detail about the ponds themselves or the specific herbicides that we're using. We do a year-end report every year provided to the town, just kind of talking about what the monitoring program we observed and what treatments were done on an annual basis. So there's some documentation there of what's being done, and we're just looking to continue the successful program and protect these very valuable water resources here in the town.
Thank you. I have a few questions. How many applications of the pesticides you're proposing to use will be made?
So it really depends on the herbicide. There's the fluridone herbicide, which is one that we use most specifically for fanwort control, is a slow-acting systemic herbicide, requires a long contact time. There we would be doing basically an initial and a couple booster applications. But on average, we're probably doing 1 to 2 applications per year on the ponds.
You also indicated that you need a permit from DEP to do the application. Where are you in that process?
Yes. So we have all those we have to put that annually. So we have we have the permits for each pond individually, as well as we have all the records of the past permits that were obtained in prior years. So.
Okay, and when would you start, subject to our approval?
So we've already started the monitoring. We typically monitor monthly from April through September. We would be looking to start the treatment probably as soon as June or whenever the paperwork is, whenever you're able to approve it and get the paperwork to us. So I understand, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have a file number for this project. I just checked the DEP website before I got on. It doesn't look like they've even logged it yet, unfortunately. I know they've been behind.
And unfortunately, that's a problem because it means we can't close our public hearing.
Yeah,
So-
I understand.
All right. Michelle, do you have any questions?
I do.
Okay, please.
How does Auburn choose which ponds they're going to treat and which ponds they don't treat? Because I know that Stoneville Reservoir certainly has a problem with all of these invasive weeds that you're talking about, and so do several of the others.
That would probably be a good question for Nick. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know that, at least for the purpose of this permit, we were continuing what was being done previously. I'm not sure if the other pond, Stoneville, has been looked at or if there's any reason those were excluded. I'd have to see how that was originally sort of looked at with this contract.
Is funding an issue?
I mean, that's certainly part of it, I imagine, but I don't expect that they wouldn't have applied for it just for funding reasons. You know, if it needed to be done, we'd apply for it. So I'd have to go back and see how we came upon those, or what criteria we used to determine these ponds versus those, or if those were.
The one at the golf course was added and how
Right.
that one wasn't, because I know that the one in Stoneville Reservoir is becoming swampy.
Yeah, I know.
It's becoming a problem.
Yeah.
Some of it is, yes, and that could be part of it.
But wouldn't Package Lab Golf Course be privately owned as well?
No, it's owned by
It's
the
owned by the
town.
town.
It is owned by the town?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Didn't
there
know
you
that.
go.
Little known fact. There you go.
Patrick, any questions?
No, I'm
Me
all
and the
set.
town too.
Okay. Megan, do you have any questions?
Yes, and I'm sorry if I'm end up making you repeat yourself. But two questions. One, are all of these herbicides that you've used previously, meaning are there any that you've never used before? And, it's a fairly thick document. I'm looking at the sections that say impact specific to the Wetlands Protection Act using, the specified herbicides. Are there any in here that have any other indications besides neutral, generally neutral, or benefit or possible benefit? Like, are there any that actually have a negative indication?
No, these particular herbicides are very specific for the aquatic environment. They're very highly regulated. There's a very limited number of active ingredients that we're able to use in the aquatics environment. So they're very, very carefully reviewed, and understandably so, as we're putting them into water, which certainly has the potential for there to be issues. So there's just all the products, again, they're all labeled for lakes and ponds. They do not have any adverse effects on the environment or any of the critters or fish in the pond, very specifically so. And we've used all of the ones that we've listed in the notice of intent, with the exception of the Celicor herbicide that was recently registered about 3 years ago. It's a newer herbicide that works on milfoil specifically. But that's also, and then all of these products, so they're reviewed and labeled by the EPA. They're also reviewed in the state by the Department of Agriculture as well as the Department of Environmental Protection. So they're re-reviewed, re-studied, and also approved They're also, this lake and pond management in general is also covered under the generic environmental impact report that was done in 2004 by DEP, the environmental impact report for lake and pond management. There's a link to it in the NOI. So everything is what we do in accordance with that GIR and the product label and the permits from the commission and from DEP.
Okay, thank you. What was that new one you said you were using?
The Percelacore.
Cellacore, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't available the last time this project was permitted, and it's relatively new, but it's a very benign herbicide. It's classified as reduced risk by the EPA, as are many of the products that we use, and it's a systemic herbicide that works very effectively on milfoil. So it's one that we would probably look at using at eddy ponds that predominantly has milfoil as the target species there.
Would it be possible to get material safety data sheets for these herbicides?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, if that's something you could submit to us, that would be appreciated for our file. Okay, if there are no other questions from the commission, are there any questions from the public? There being none, because this matter has not been assigned a DEP file number, we unfortunately have to continue it. And is that agreeable to the town of Auburn? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Keith, what do we have on our agenda for June 8th?
One new hearing came in today,
Okay.
and anything that gets continued tonight.
All right, so why don't we actually put this matter on for 7 PM on June 8th? And is there a motion to that effect?
I move to move the Town of Auburn notice of intent to 7 PM on June 8th.
Is there a second?
A second?
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, so vote. So, Mr. Marangolo, is that correct? Did I get?
Yeah, very good. Yep.
Thank you. I didn't want to butcher your name. So thank you for your presentation, and we will see you on June 8th. Hopefully DEP will have a file number for us by then. I think they probably will, and then we can close out the public hearing at that time.
Great. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, sir. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
All right. The next matter on our agenda is 7:05 public hearing. Zachary and Serena Killsmith, they request for determination of applicability to build an addition at 85 Rochdale Street. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It's a vote. Okay, is there anyone on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Killsmith? Yes, I'm here. Okay.
I'm calling in remotely.
Okay, so,
Back here.
all right, so Mr. Killsmith, good evening, and you must be Serena?
This is, yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So, just by way of brief background, this matter happened on our agenda for May 11th. We wanted to do a site walk, and I had every intention of going out there until I tested positive for COVID. So I was unable to attend, and we weren't able to make a site walk of the property. We would like to do that, and as you can imagine, I mean, we all have pretty busy schedules. And I know this weekend is probably not convenient because it is, after all, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. And I, just so you know too, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm home all the time, pretty
Okay.
much, unless I get cabin fever.
And the weather has
But
gotten
if
better.
anybody's driving by and wants to stop in, sees a blue Toyota in the driveway, that's mine.
So what I was going to suggest is this: if you don't mind, I'd like to continue this to our next meeting on June 8th. And I promise you that between now and then, we will have an opportunity to go out there and take a look at your property. Is that okay with you?
I mean, I know that we were hoping to move this along. I mean, we've got the contractor all lined up and,
Okay.
you know, everything's kind of in limbo.
Right.
We don't want him to bail on us because we're
Sure.
keeping money out of his pocket for too long, you know?
All right. Well, if you would then, just please explain what your project is.
So, we plan to build an addition. We have a Cape style. I believe we've submitted our drawings and stuff. You guys should have.
Yes, we do.
You know, we also did have a pretty good survey done a couple years ago, not the geological survey, but, or the geographical. But they did, you know, register it with the town and everything. So we had an official survey done not that long ago. So basically, we're going to add like a 20-foot living room and a 2-car garage.
Okay. And
Well, that's the plan.
you're right, and I think, and will you strike that? Would you then put in erosion control measures between the area where the work is being done and the intermittent stream?
Are you referring to, you know, like the hay bales and the, yeah,
Yeah.
anything that we would be, you
Yes.
know.
Okay, and when would you hope to get started?
Well, I know,
Yesterday?
yeah, pretty much.
All right. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Michelle, do you have any questions?
No, there's no real, how far do you know, you're not really digging down in, right? At that point?
No, we're not putting a foundation.
You're not putting on a foundation, you're not
No,
digging.
nope. And it's on like the flattest, driest part of our property too. It's so basically like our house is here, the driveway's here, and we have a sunroom off the back. So we're gonna add on to that sunroom. So basically it's gonna have like the garage here and then a little strip, like a breezeway, but the breezeway will be our new living room. And then, and that's pretty much it, pretty basic slab. Yeah.
You're gonna make sure that they don't impact that wetland as much as
No,
they
we
can.
don't want our, you know, we've got we've got gardens and things we've planted and, you know, we've kind of, cultivated our property with nice things that we don't want wrecked either, so.
Okay. Mr. Killsmith, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I could just add that, yeah, it's going to be, you know, in addition, slab on grade for the garage. It will be at street level. So it's, you know, as far as the marked wetlands on the property are concerned, it's well over 100 feet away from that. It does get us closer to the intermittent drainage ditch, but the measures that the contractor suggested were hay bales and wattles to protect that during construction.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so it's.
Okay, thank you, sir. Patrick, any questions?
I know you're saying it's a slab on grade, just to be sure, you're not bringing any material in from outside to this project?
So, Mr. Killsmith, do you need to level out the property before you can put the slab on grade?
No, however, there is one corner of the garage that would basically be a retaining wall
Yes, Mr. Moody.
to level it out.
Okay, so you are going to be putting in a frost wall, Mr. Killsmith, correct?
Yes, it's a frost wall with a you know, basically your typical construction for a garage.
Understood. Okay, thank you, Mr. Moody. Megan, any questions?
No.
Okay. That being said, is there any comment from the audience? There being none, is there a motion to close?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Okay, is there a second?
I will second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it's a vote.
Sorry if I'm taking all these away from you, Megan. That was funny, I don't think.
Um,
I thought it was amusing.
I thought it was amusing too. Did you hear that, Megan?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. I thought I heard my name.
Michelle was hoping that you didn't mind her, stealing your thunder by seconding the motion.
Quite all right.
Okay.
There we go. So in any event, we will render a decision this evening. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, okay, thank
Okay?
you so much.
You're welcome. Okay.
So just to clarify, does that mean that we can proceed with the request for permit?
Well, sir, what we're gonna vote on, your request for determination, I mean, you'll get our decision probably tomorrow, but I would say based on your submission, you will be good to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Okay, no worries. The next matter on our agenda is 7:10 public hearing. Robert Adam Kapitko, request for determination to install an above-ground pool at 77 Berlin Street in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's a vote. Is there anyone here on behalf of Mr. Kapitko? And apparently there is not. So I don't know if the applicant was not aware of the fact that he had to attend tonight. I'm not inclined to act on the application without someone making a presentation. So I think maybe we will hold it for the time being and then call it towards the end of our meeting. Excuse me. Okay, in terms of other business, we have received a number of requests for certificates of compliance that I think we just need to go out and inspect. I know that Mr. Heselton handed us a packet of information for the charging stations at the Auburn Mall, which will be fairly straightforward and easy for us to review. We've also been carrying a request for certificate of compliance from Mr. Azam Mohammed at 23 Brook Street. That was a property we'd gone to, I believe, in February, excuse me. And the work had not been done, so we can circle back perhaps between now and our meeting on June 8th and see if any progress has been made. Regarding Eastland Partners, 190 Washington Street. Good evening, sir. I'm well. You must be getting tired of coming here.
Warm in here too. First of all, I'd like to apologize for apparently the last meeting we had here. During the day on the site, J.M. Cool says, "Hey, we're on conservation tonight. Do you usually handle that?" I says, "Well, I usually go to the meetings if something comes up." And he says, "Well, we're on." I had 2 appointments, so I called and said I can't be here and they had said they couldn't be here as well. I did not know we were on the docket too here for 190. We never get any notifications, so I just want to apologize. Wasn't here because we didn't know if I couldn't be here, somebody else would be here representing Eastland.
So I think you may have heard me before. What was it? Would have been, what was that? May, if the meeting was the 11th, it would have been the 14th, that Saturday. So that Saturday morning, we had planned a number of site walks, including J.M. McCool, not that it referred, had any impact on your project. But I had tested positive for COVID, and so I had to cancel that site walk. I think, generally speaking, as you know, we've walked the site a number of times. There seem to be certain issues that just keep coming up. And, we recognize it's a huge site. You're moving around a lot of material on that site. There's a lot of rock there, a lot of dirt. I know we had some issues with regard to the dirt piles and them being stabilized. And I think we were not particularly happy with the way that those piles were being stabilized. So generally speaking, I think what we'd like to do, and I would not propose doing it this weekend because that's not fair to anyone, frankly, would be to just schedule, if you're available, a site walk for June 4th, which would be the following Saturday. Go there at 9 o'clock, just walk through the site so we can pinpoint or show you the areas of, I guess, continuing concern that we have.
No, I'd love to. I'll definitely do it. My daughter's getting married on the 5th, and I'm taking care of it,
Congratulations.
so thank you. But I'll definitely be there on the 4th.
Are you
to
sure?
meet you. Yeah, but I'm going to be rushing in and out. But I want to make sure. I'd like to go through and hear all of it. If we got
Can somebody else
problems.
be there? Your daughter's getting married on the 5th.
If I can, or
don't
somebody
think
else
that
will be
that's-
there. I just I'd like to take care of stuff if there's problems,
I get
because we've actively been working. And if you've been out there, you've seen that we've actively worked. I know,
What the bigger issue is, and again, if that can, again, I can probably breeze out there probably during the week or something like that. If we can try and set something up between now and then, where I can try and meet you during the week. The silk socks, like taking care of, like making sure that those silk socks are in place and
They're-
stable, like done, like they're in that. What was it, all of the equipment and everything that was kind of stored really close to
the wetlands area.
to the wetlands area that we kind of asked
Yeah.
be removed.
Since then, we've gotten them out of
They
that
have.
area, yes, all of our equipment anyways, is out of
Okay.
those areas. Silt sacks are all installed, the maintenance, they get ripped up and stuff from the cars, the truck driver. But,
We really kind of need those in place all the time.
I agree, they're always in there.
Okay.
So
When we
can
went out there a
guarantee
few
that.
times, they weren't.
Once.
Okay, that was just that once, you're right, you're right, okay.
And I took care of it right after. After that last meeting, if you remember when I came in here, I
Okay.
said I was gonna do this, this, and this, and I handed you plans. It's an ongoing thing. I try to do the right thing, everything that we've discussed, I've taken care of it, I've implemented other measures. I've had people cleaning stuff all the time. So I don't want you to think we're just not doing it, because it's an actively thing, and we're always doing something, so. But I'd love to meet you, I can be there on the Saturday, it'll be, that's fine, or during the week,
It's wedding.
I'm okay.
I'm a female, I would be kind of upset if my dad bailed on me to go.
I'm still gonna be there,
Yeah,
it's
I
the
don't know.
following day, but, I'd love to just, let's make sure if anything's out in the open and clear it up,
Right.
All right, so why don't we plan to meet then we'll do it at 9 o'clock sharp on June 4th and take as little of your time as possible. How's
Yeah.
that?
That sounds good,
Okay,
Okay.
all right, very good.
That's huge,
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. I'm gonna sit and hang out for your next one,
Okay.
because in case I can shed any light on that.
And then I don't know if anyone is here on behalf of Jim Cool for 2 Commerce Drive. This is a situation where, again, we had made a specific plan to visit the site on May 14th, and it had to be canceled due to my circumstances, unfortunately. Again, they were not scheduled to have to appear here tonight. What I can do is I can reach out to them and see if we can also, since we're going to be at the property anyway, see if we can also check out our areas of concern for 2 Commerce Drive on June 4th as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I know they're not here, but I'm actively working at that site.
Okay.
So if there's something concerning you want to bring, maybe I could.
There was a concern with equipment being located near a wetland. In addition, there was one area where it appeared the 25-foot no-build zone had been encroached again for the second time.
You know which area?
You would have to ask me that. In terms of directions, I can't. I don't have a plan in front of me.
We talked about it, do we have a notes by any chance for this?
I don't.
Last meeting?
Unfortunately, I don't. But in any
I know
event,
the area we had was out in the back.
it is in the back.
The back
Yeah.
of that area, which,
If you're looking at the building, it would be to the left of
the
the
left
building.
side.
That's right.
Sorry.
That's
I need
okay.
to dive across the table. that's the area, if you remember, I came in here and discussed it when it happened, and I had that seeded. Again, I got lousy pictures. Hang on a second, we're not done.
I had to rush, sorry.
Mind if I come over?
I don't
Here's
mind.
that drone photo shot of the site, which depicts your 25 no disturb. This was the area in here, which you can see the grading.
Right.
It hasn't been touched. That's actually green grass growing, which I wish I had the pictures. But that, once it was done, I've got that staked. You had no disturb zone there now.
All right,
But that red line is it.
okay. Well, we'll take a look at
Yeah,
it.
but I just want you to know that that's the area. It was that once, and it was taken care of. And you can see the grass growth there
Right.
now, but just so you know, and we'll see it when we're out there, and then if there's anything else.
All right, perfect.
All right,
All right, thank you.
Other than that, sorry to take the time.
Right, no, have a good evening and thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
two.
Thank you.
Okay, with respect to the request for determination of applicability for Zachary and Serena Killsmith, is there a motion? And that's the property at 85 Rochdale Street.
I'm not good at actually doing this, but I'd say we do a negative determination, but make sure that the, I'm not good at wording these.
Okay.
Make sure that the proper,
Erosion control measures are in place?
measures are-
So your motion is to issue negative determination of applicability, provide that the applicant installs erosion control measures between the intermittent stream and the area where the construction is being done?
Yeah,
Okay. Is there a second?
not hay bales, that it's,
Stake tail bales?
not stake tail bale,
What?
the,
You
yeah, the
Okay.
straw wattles
You want straw wattles?
Yes.
You want them staked?
and staked, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Is there a second?
Before I second, are we able to enforce anything if we determine, make a negative determination for this? So-
Yeah, if they don't put in the
Yeah, and I'll
siltation
second
measures
that,
and, you know, if there's a problem, we can absolutely issue an enforcement order. We've done it before.
Yeah. All right, hold on a second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's a vote. And I'm going to reach out again. The application of Robert Adam Kapitko, request for determination to install a pole at 77 Berlin Street. All right, apparently Mr. Kapitko is not available. We'll carry this over to our next meeting on June 8th. And in the interim, we will, hopefully on June 4th, can go over to the property, take a look, and we will have an informed opinion on what's going on there.
Okay.
Okay? We also have, excuse me, for June 4th, we have properties to check out for requests, for certificates of compliance that have been requested. And also, as we said before, 190 Washington Street and 2 Commerce Drive. If there is no other new business, is there a motion to close?
I will move to close the meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. All right, everyone, thank you very much. I hope you have a pleasant evening, a very pleasant Memorial Day weekend, and we will hopefully see you on June 4th, and there will be communication before then. So thank you, everyone.